The only contact patch between a vehicle and the road is the tyre. These black round circles are therefore one of the most safety critical aspects of the modern aftermarket. But it does appear that more drivers than ever are starting to neglect them. Many will see them as a distressed purchase, something that they need to replace only when it's worn or when it fails. But drivers aren't checking the tread, aren't checking the age and the perishing of the rubber. And that means that garages play an even more crucial role today in educating and making sure that every vehicle on the road is safe to drive. Today's tyre industry is more than just talking about 4 black round circles. Pressures on tyre manufacturers to increase their range and provide sustainable options and quick turnarounds on delivery is also crucial. The tyre industry is developing at a pace.
If you look at the tyre market, it has become more mature in terms of the competitive landscape has changed. Earlier, you used to have significant difference between the technology and the performance of different brands. Now that gap has shortened up. And that puts a lot of pressure on the manufacturer. Good pressure, I would say. Good for the end users as well, that the technological differences between the brands have narrowed down. But one important thing which has changed in the last year is the service level. It's the package, not just for the dealers but also for the end users. They are not willing to wait now for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days to get the tires changed. They want an answer now, here and now. So that puts a little bit more pressure on the service level. So you're not seeing a manufacturer as a product which is very good in technology. That's a given these days. But it's about the total package. Does this price make sense? Does the service make sense? So it's the total package that we're talking about. That's the biggest change that I would notice, that I noticed in the tyre industry, and especially for UK, which has always been reliant on a lot of imports coming in from China, Asia, and the other markets, and that has gone up. So, and that's also the reason where people are trying to test out more tires which are being produced outside EU, maybe due to the cost or due to the confidence that they now have in the technology.
While the tyre industry is changing, how have customer attitudes to tyres changed? And what are workshops seeing in today's society?
We get a lot of people obviously come in. We're going on a long journey. We need to do a tyre check. We come in, we check over the tyres and bits and pieces, and they're low. They're like 2 mil of tread, 1.7, 1.6, perished. It's massive at the moment, unfortunately. A massive role is it's just lack of diligence to the actual tyre itself. So, or just obviously getting the vehicle, driving it straight to a destination, and then just obviously not checking over as it should be, basically. Another thing massively is TPMS. So a lot of people are not acting on their cars until their TPMS light have obviously come onto the dashboard. But yeah, at the moment it's yeah.
And there's many different options when it comes to tyres, and they can operate on a budget better best mentality, although realistically there's no true class. That does, however, allow for workshops to offer a potential upsell based around the best option for the vehicle.
Budget tyres are the basic, they're like the low of the low, I guess, but it's still so a 205 55 16 budget tyre, we sell them for £65, 60 to £65, and then a mid-range tyre, which is one of the Churchills that we sell that probably about 75. So there's like a £10-15 difference most of the time. That small difference is always an upsell for customers. However, when it can be a bit of a jump, I always see they're a bit more hesitant, but I always assure the drivers, yes, it is a budget tyre. However, it's safer than the bold tyres that you're driving around on. And if this is just a stopgap for this moment in time where you can save to afford a better tyre next time, it's safer than you driving around on bold tyres. And also, a lot of budget tyres that are on the market at the moment, if you know your tyre brands, some of the budget brands are actually quite good and some of them last well. And if you religiously check your tyres and have your alignment checked, they can last you quite a decent amount of time. And then also, if you research into tyres before you was to go and buy them, there is also budget brands which are owned by premium brands, which also make mid-range brands. So you've got that to think about if I was going to go for a budget brand and maybe look at one that's made by, say, Michelin or Hankook or, that kind of thing.
When a car comes into the workshop, it's inevitably going to be checked for various different issues. It may go up on the ramp or just have a visual inspection. But for workshops, this is also an opportunity to inspect those tyres. It then gives an opportunity to educate the customer on tread depth, perishing, cracking, wear, or anything else that's relevant. It's not necessarily to sell, but to advise and keep that customer informed so that when they do have to make that replacement and they make it in a safe manner, in a safe time, they know where they can go and that garages can be trusted to offer them the best product at the best time.
This is all about trying to get people to understand the importance of safe, legal, roadworthy tyres. And so, of course, the garages have an absolutely crucial role. And this is where the technicians can come in, because it's the single point of engagement. So this is the opportunity for garages to work with their customers, and also to then build that customer base by providing that sound, reliable service. And as we all know, if we all get good service, we tend to go back to the same places time and time again. So, talk about how to engage with the customer to explain why this is so important, but also ask them, what kind of driving do you do? So obviously the range of tyres that are now available, performance depends on the type of tyre that you want. So it's not just, and we hear anecdotally all the time, and some surveys are suggesting that people come in and just say, what's the cheapest tyres for this car? Well, if you're going to be doing long distances on high-speed roads, motorways and dual carriageways, you're putting your children in your car, you're going to load your car up because you're going on holiday, then perhaps the cheapest tyres for you is not the best tyre. So this is something that we think that the technicians have an absolutely critical role in getting that message across to the customers.
And when it comes to actually selling tyres, what tips can garages use to make sure that customers leave their premises on 4 safe wheels?
It's not just a safety aspect. I think for the garages that have that vehicle in, it's also an upsell. I know people might not like to hear that word in this trade because everyone thinks we're cowboys for some reason, but for garage owners, there is part of the market there that they're missing out on. And if they don't sell tyres, that's a good chunk of the trade that they are missing, just because everybody always needs them. It's the only point of contact with the road. And if you was to call a customer and say your tyre is knackered, like it needs a new one, that customer kind of has to have that done. And any garage that's doing work on a vehicle that's got bald or defective tyres, they shouldn't be letting that car drive away. I know we don't have any legality to hold someone's car, but from a safety aspect, they really should be put on that customer that your vehicle is not safe. Would you like to put this money that you're trying to do for a service or an MOT towards some tyres and then come back, in 2 weeks when you can afford to do the rest of it, which is one thing we do always say to our customers.
One area in the tyre industry that's been in place since 2012 is the tyre label. However, recent research suggests that consumers don't understand or look for the details on the tyre label when considering a tyre purchase. These aren't just upsell opportunities, they provide customers with information on grip, noise and fuel efficiency, making them choose a more sustainable tyre that works for them.
Now, the whole idea behind introducing a tyre label was so that an end consumer can make an informed decision about what they are getting into. I mean, people need to understand that you can buy the safest of the cars in the world, but the tires are the 4 contact points on the road. And if you are compromising on the tires, we are compromising with our lives. So that's where that label becomes very, very important. It's not just about the fuel efficiency. So that's the one side of it where you talk about rolling resistance, but also about wet grip. And if you look at UK and if you look at how the weather is in most part of the Europe, it's raining, it's wet, it's waterclogged. We need to make sure that we have a tire which is taking us home safe or to our office safe. I'll just highlight a few data points that we have. The amount of casualties or the road deaths that we see in UK due to tire failures. It's appalling, and it's increasing by 29 to 30% almost every year, and it's highest across the countries in Europe as well. So that's something where we need to focus a little bit more. And yes, it starts with that tire label, but it also starts with your discussions with your retailer or your garages or the kind of online research that you do.
Now, most modern vehicles come equipped with tyre pressure monitoring systems, TPMS. And that's a system within the wheel unit that provides tyre pressures to the driver display. This gives a good overview of what's going on with the tyre in terms of pressure, but not in terms of wear. But is this leading to drivers taking their eye off the ball when it comes to the overall condition of their tyres?
I think that TPMS sensors, the technology that you have around tyres, is obviously a great thing. It's a great gadget to have on a vehicle, but I also don't think it's a great thing at the same time, because unfortunately people who own vehicles think that that's the thing that's going to tell them when the tyre is in danger, basically, or needs help. And sometimes issues with tyres can completely be missed because people are waiting for that light to come on. But say it's a bulge in the side of the tyre, say a nail's gone in but hasn't lost any pressure, that TPMS light would not come on. So I think it's a great piece of technology, but also it's not great at the same time, because people really need to be checking their tyres at least once a month. They need to not rely on the technology.
Worryingly, many drivers only rely on the MOT for their tyre check. But this is leading to an increasing number of vehicles on the roads with worn, defective and dangerous tyres. And the situation is getting worse.
Every year, we're seeing over 2 million MOT failures every year. It's not going down. It's consistently around about 2.1 million. And what's really alarming is that over a million, about 1.1, 1.2 million, are deemed by the garages to be dangerous defects or dangerous issues. And yet people can still drive away and say, okay, I'll get it sorted. And then they forget. Another cost of living crisis hits, the boiler's gone or the washing machine's broken, and they just forget about it. The data that we've received from DVSA shows that 750,000 people turned up with the same vehicle that they'd taken for their MOT the previous year and got an advisory. They still turned up. 750,000 people turned up with the same tyres that they were given an advisory for. And the response is, well, this was only an advisory, wasn't illegal. But they seem to think that that's a small. They don't understand that that is a snapshot by the technician on the day, and it doesn't carry you forward then for the other 364 days that you're going to be traveling. And of course, if you do, even if you only do small mileage, that then the chances are that will become illegal. So is it any wonder why there are so many illegal tyres? We believe with our research there's up to 6 million tyres are being changed when they're already illegal, and that's where people have already made that informed choice to go into a garage.
Now, Also Repair Focus has partnered with Tyre Safe, and the reason we've done that is because we believe that by working together we can inform independent garages of the crucial role they play in educating drivers when it comes to tyre safety. Technicians and workshops see thousands of cars a year, and those cars could have tyres in a poor state of repair. This means that you have an opportunity to educate those drivers on the importance of tyre checks, tyre maintenance, tyre replacement, and overall tyre safety. Tyre Safe is a leading road safety charity, and Also Repair Focus believes that by working in partnership with them, we can help you understand the important role you play, but there's more. You can also get involved with Tyre Safe.
It's a very, very simple process. So go on to tyresafe.org and register your interest. Say that you're an independent or you're a small chain, and there are different levels for corporate membership. But if the £150 is too much, then you can still use our resources, but it's only by, as a charity, it's only by these corporate donations, this corporate membership, that we can do more campaigning. But go on tyresafe.org, and how to join us. Come along to our briefing next year, 10th of June, at the Belfry, free to attend briefing. So come along and listen. We've got a host of speakers lined up, from the emergency services through to the industry, through to academics, and road safety partners. So come along and listen and join us. So tyresafe.org is the place to go. Look at our resources, but again, I urge people to please join us and help to strengthen the message that we get out there.
So when it comes to tyres, the key message is safety. These are, as I've said, the only contact patch between a vehicle and the ground. 1.6 millimetres of tread is not a lot. 3 millimetres is just about bearable. For drivers, it seems that they're relying more on technology and less on visual inspection of the car in general. But neglecting tyres could lead to serious, potentially fatal consequences. This means garages need to step in to educate, to inform, and to make sure that drivers remain safe. Yes, it's an opportunity to sell, but overall, it's an opportunity to make sure that drivers remain safe when it comes to their tyres.